A very good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News on TV1. We're coming to you live from Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. Let's first start off with a look at your top stories this afternoon.
Party representatives meeting chaired by the Speaker. Speaker quotes President saying Parliament will be summoned on the 7th. Special High Court trial at bar orders for daily hearings of the case against Kamini Senarat.
Starting off with a look at those stories in detail. Speaker Karu Jayasuriya, speaking at the parliamentary complex, said that the President had announced that Parliament will be reconvened on the 7th of November. The Speaker made the announcement during a meeting of political party representatives held at the parliamentary complex. United National Party, the JVP, the Tamil National Alliance, the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress and a number of other parties attended this meeting.
At about 5 p.m. the day before yesterday, the President and I had a cordial conversation for about 1.5 hours. After we presented facts to the President, drew his attention towards reconvening Parliament during the course of the next week itself instead on the 16th. And then yesterday at about 10:30, he contacted me and said he will be reconvening Parliament on Wednesday, the 7th of November. As the Deputy Leader of the UNP, I would like to clearly state that we are of one stance as one group. Our stance is that we are ready to beat this undemocratic act in the Parliament. The UNP as well as the UNF has the ability to do this. If we are to do this in Parliament, getting 113 is critical. There are 117 in this hall at this moment.
The 6 parliamentarians of the JVP are of one clear stance. The appointment or the removal of the Prime Minister should happen according to the Constitution. That is something that should happen through Parliament. But what has happened is against the Constitution. It is not ethical and it is against democracy. We will, as the JVP, work against this process.
We are not interested in individuals or personalities, but the sanctity of the Constitution must be protected and preserved. That's our fundamental duty. And we urge that Parliament be convened early and Parliament be enabled to take a decision in regard to this matter.
Now, in more political news from the tumultuous political situation here in the country, United People's Freedom Alliance parliamentarian Lakshman Yapa Abewardena expressed these views regarding the meeting held at the parliamentary complex today. At a party leaders meeting in Parliament, there are many representatives from parties. When one adds up the number of representatives there and says there is 117, they're asking for Parliament to be reconvened. So convening Parliament is one thing, voting in Parliament is another. And anyway, a vote will not be held on the first day that Parliament convenes. The other thing is, if a Prime Minister is to be removed, a no-confidence motion must be put forward. It has to be included in the agenda. By tonight, you will be able to see the other changes. Some of those who were there by this evening will join us and strengthen the government. This will also happen during the coming days. So just like the statement made yesterday that the Speaker will not provide the seat of the Prime Minister in the coming days too, there will be similar lies. This will be sorted out soon. Speaking at a media briefing, MP Mahindananda Alutgamage expressed the following views. We saw a split during the previous government. The ministers and MPs of the previous government were frustrated. Vijaydas Rajapaksa at one point left the government. His stance was against what the government did back then. We saw that in Vasantha Seranayake as well. Even Ratanathera was in such a mentality. You also saw how certain people were against the UNP. Many were unjustly treated by the UNP. There is a split in the UNP. There is a force within the UNP against Ranil Wickremesinghe and 3 other ministers who at one point trying to rule the country. There was a program going on in Kolpiti to bring Sajid to power instead of Ranil Wickremesinghe, so we didn't have to pay any money. Ranil Wickremesinghe himself sent these individuals to us. We didn't have to offer money to get people to oppose Ranil Wickremesinghe. They voluntarily joined us. The case filed against 4 defendants, including former Presidential Chief of Staff Kamini Senarat, at the Special High Court trial at Bar was taken up today. The request made by the counsel for the defendant to suspend the hearings of the case and transfer the case to the Supreme Court was rejected. Court ordered for the hearing of evidence of the case to begin on the 7th of this month as ordered before. Now, on the 23rd of last month, court ordered for the hearing of evidence in the case to begin on the 7th of this month and to be carried out on a daily basis. Challenging that order, the counsel for the defendant requested for the hearing of evidence to be suspended as an appeal has been filed with the Supreme Court. The High Court trial at bar rejected the request today. 24 charges, including the misuse of 500 million rupees belonging to Litrogas, have been filed against former Presidential Chief of Staff Gamini Senarath, Piyadasa Kuda Balage, Neil Bandara Hapuinna and Lasanta Bandara. Fort Magistrate Rangadisa Nayak today ordered the Criminal Investigations Department to arrest Chief of Defence Staff Admiral Ravindra C. Vijay Gunaratna and produce him in court on or before the 9th of November. Now, this is over the charges of aiding Lieutenant Commander Prasad Hettiarachi, a suspect wanted by court to abscond court. The magistrate strongly reprimanded the Criminal Investigations Department for failing to implement the orders given by court previously regarding the Chief of Defence Staff. And more political news, Minister of Skills Development and Vocational Training Dayasiri Jayasekar expressed these views during a media briefing held at the Prime Minister's office.
Today we have made a pledge to strengthen the legal and constitutional action that the trade unions of Sri Lanka Freedom Party and the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna have taken. We will gather in Colombo at 12 noon on the 5th of November and provide more and more support to this decision. Certain leaders of the United National Party are working towards using the foreign powers to take back the power. We can only recover this country from this crisis if the people of the country stand with us and support the decision taken by President Maithripala Sirisena.
Bishop of Kurunegala, His Eminence Harold Anthony Pereira, expressed his views on the current political situation in the country.
Everybody knows that we are currently facing a crisis in the political and administrative sphere of the country. Various opinions are expressed during this period. Lawyers are putting forward legal opinions. At a time when there is a split in the general opinion, the people must understand what is right. I'm of the strong opinion that the learned politicians and government officials should resolve the issues within the limits of our country alone. We have a legislature, we have a parliament where these issues can be easily resolved. I believe that foreign powers should also acknowledge our sovereignty and understand that they shouldn't meddle in the affairs of our country, just as we don't meddle with their countries in relation to similar issues.
Governor of the Sabaragamu province, Niluka Ekanaika, declared open a two-storied building at the Varakapula Dedigamba Primary School. The building was constructed at a cost of 16 million rupees. The governor also attended an art exhibition held in line with the opening ceremony of the building.
His Excellency the President, after he laid his life on the line and became the President, the first thing that he did was to allocate 6,650 million rupees for the education sector in this country. This is a great victory. The President did this and allocated so much of money, unlike any other government, to uplift the education of the children of this country.
4 people were injured following an accident that occurred in Kulupana, Horana yesterday.
A private bus collided head-on with an ambulance belonging to the Horana Fire Brigade. The ambulance was carrying a patient from the Horana Base Hospital to the Kalubowale Teaching Hospital. According to police, 3 medical staff members in the ambulance and a relative of the patient had sustained injuries. The bus driver was arrested following the accident. 5 people were injured following an accident that occurred in Potupitiya, Wadua. The accident occurred around 4:30 a.m. this morning when a bus travelling from Deniyai to Colombo veered off the road and collided with a nearby building. Injured 4 people were admitted to the Nagada hospital, while another injured is receiving treatment at the Panadura hospital.
The vehicle of Ibangamu municipal councillor representing the Podujana Peramuna was set ablaze by a group of unknown individuals.
The incident occurred at about 1 this morning. According to a correspondent, the vehicle belonging to the municipal councillor named P. Dayaratna was set ablaze while it was parked at his residence in Ambanpola, Gokarella. The Gokarella police have launched investigations into the incident.
I want to lighten note, the drinking water project that was constructed at the Uruputha Junior School in Bingiria under the Gum at the 1000 Projects initiative was declared open today.
The Clean Drinking Water Project contains a tube bill as well as a water purifier and was vested with the students at an auspicious time this morning. The CEO and the Group Director of the Capital Maharaja Organization Limited, Mr. Mohan Barara, and several other officials attended the event. DS Sanjeeva had granted the financial support for this project with the blessings of the chief incumbent of the Vedahara Viharaya, Venerable Alabadagama Shilakanda Thera. There are about 150 students receiving education in this school and they will now be able to consume clean drinking water.
Taking a look back at some local news, Western Provincial Chief Minister Isura Devapriya expressed these views at a media briefing held in Colombo yesterday.
We know, as mentioned in the books of history, when there were weak leaders during the colonial era, they always went to the governors. They went to the white imperialists and sought their help. Today we can see that he is seeking the help of foreign powers. He always refers to the debt of the Rajapaksas. The best thing they can do is allow Rajapaksa to pay off the Rajapaksas' debt and stand aside. That is all I have to say.
Rajapaksa naya Rajapaksa ගෙවා ගන්න කියලා පැත්තකටම වෙලා නිකන් හිටියනම් ඇත්තටම හරිනේ කියලා තමයි මට අගමැතිතුමාට කියන්නේ.
In your sports news this afternoon, Minister of Provincial Councils, Local Government and Sports, Faiza Mustafa, says that the legal framework pertaining to match fixing should be broadened.
An event to distribute sports equipment to under-19 players was held at the Sports Ministry yesterday. Speaking at the event, Minister of Provincial Councils and Local Government and Sports, Faiza Mustafa, expressed the following views. We hope to establish an anti-corruption unit in Sri Lanka with the assistance of the ICC. We held 2 rounds of discussions with the ICC regarding this. I believe that our Chief Executive Officer is due to travel to England on the 5th. England will support us on this. There is also a need for laws on match fixing to be broadened through passing an act in Parliament. Our cricket team is an asset to the country. I have utmost faith that they love our country. I am not ready to point fingers at players.
And that's all the news we've got for you this afternoon. Join us again at 1:55 for more of the very latest.